So you want to sleeve your cards. Well, before you run out and just grab whatever sleeves your local game store might have, there are a few things you'll want to consider. The first thing to look out for when you're buying your card sleeves is to make sure that they fit the size of your card. As you can see from the cards I've laid out here, board and card game cards come in a variety of sizes. This is important because a good fit means a good shuffle. If a sleeve is too small for a card, the card might bend and it can damage the card long term. However, if a sleeve is too large for a card, the sleeve can curl at the ends or be a little loose, which can make mass shuffling more difficult. This probably won't matter as much when the cards don't need to be shuffled, like with the Settlers of Catan resource cards, but cards in well-fitting sleeves simply just look better than cards in ill-fitting ones.
To find out what size sleeves you need for your cards, there are some decent lists compiled at BoardGameGeek. I'll put the links in the description box below. You'll notice that there are several standard sizes for card sleeves, and some of them have names like Standard, or American, or European, and then other sizes are just marked in millimeters, like 70 by 70. To find your game on a list like this, the easiest way to do it is just to use your browser's search feature, like so. I'm going to search for Munchkin, and then scroll to the top of that list to find its size, and then, some possible sleeves that fit it.
Note that some card sizes are more popular than others, and the most popular size, Standard, will have the largest variety of sleeve options due to the near necessity of sleeving collectible card games. However, you will be able to find at least a couple brands making sleeves for cards your size. While not all card sizes will have as broad of options as Standard, all sleeves have a few qualities that you should think about before picking a sleeve for your cards. One of the first things that you should think about is the quality of the sleeves overall, and there are basically two components to sleeve quality that you should think about: consistency and durability. Consistency in sleeve quality is important because one of the reasons why sleeves work is that they are all identical. However, sometimes sleeves will come out of the factory with small to significant differences, and these are usually differences in size, either between the different packs of sleeves or sometimes even within the same pack of sleeves. Sometimes these are cutting errors, leading to some sleeves being shorter and others longer, as you can see from these Ultra Pro mats. This can be a problem not just because players might be able to remember which cards are wearing the smaller sleeves, but because if a sleeve is cut too small, it's possible that it won't be able to effectively protect the card, as sleeves use a gap to create a buffer between the top edge of the card and the elements outside the sleeve. Durability is the other basic sleeve quality that you will need to consider. Because you are shuffling your sleeves hundreds of times, they will be well handled, and the shuffling process will result in sleeve edges colliding with each other. In time, card sleeves can split, usually at the seams, which will require replacement. Penny sleeves usually are the most likely to break and split, while medium quality sleeves like Ultra Pros can take a bit more handling. Premium sleeves like Dragon Shields are often nearly indestructible in normal handling. Of course, that means that you'll want to think about how much you want to spend on sleeves. Some games, like Marvel Legendary, have hundreds of cards that will all need to be sleeved if you choose to sleeve them at all. And if you buy penny sleeves at 1 cent per sleeve, sleeving the core Legendary box of 500 cards will cost you about $5. But if you end up purchasing Dragon Shield sleeves for all 500 cards at about 12 cents per sleeve, it could cost you over $60. One of the most important qualities for sleeves in many games is how well they shuffle. In many games you'll need to shuffle your sleeve decks, and sleeves that stick against each other or that don't slide easily into each other can make shuffling difficult. And for some games where you shuffle a deck multiple times, this can really bog down the speed of play. On the other hand, if you have a set of sleeves that shuffles well, then it can actually speed up the game, as a mass shuffle with the right sleeves can be considerably faster to execute than your typical riffle shuffle. Another thing to note is how well a sleeve deck holds together in a stack. Some sleeves can be very slippery, and even the slightest jostle will send the deck spilling. Other sleeves are so sticky that sometimes taking a card off the top can take an additional card or two. A minor thing you'll also want to consider is just how easily your sleeves will accept cards. While the difference of a second might not seem like much at first, when you're sleeving up hundreds of cards, each additional second per card will add to the time that you spend just sleeving your cards. And some sleeves, like these KMC mats, can require additional effort, which can be frustrating. This covers traits that are universal to all card sleeves. However, there are a few additional qualities that you will want to consider when dealing specifically with standard sleeves. One of the most notable distinctions of standard-sized card sleeves is that many of them come with opaque backs, those backs either being illustrated or a single color. Opaque back sleeves serve multiple purposes, but one of the things that they should always accomplish is making uniform all card backs. If you have a game that has multiple decks, like Splendor, then you will likely want to get either clear sleeves or opaque sleeves of enough different colors that you can have a color for each card back. Accordingly, if a card back has significant information, like the instructions on the back of these Forbidden Island character cards, then you will want a clear sleeve. However, sometimes you will only have one uniform card back, and in that case you can go with either opaque sleeves or clear ones. Although if you have any worn or marked cards, using opaque card sleeves will add the benefit of making all your card backs uniform. Note that not all sleeves that have opaque backs get opacity perfectly right, and some can be a little translucent. This won't usually matter because most games only use one face of the card, and wear on the card back is usually obscured by even translucent sleeves, but sometimes, like with Magic the Gathering's double-faced cards, being able to see through the card back will actually provide information that isn't supposed to be available. Standard card sleeves also come with different kinds of finish for both the front and the back of the sleeve. The classic penny sleeve is glossy on both sides, and some sleeves, like the standard dragon shields, follow suit. However, some boast matte fronts and backs, while others might have just one side matte, while the other is glossy. Glossy fronts have the benefit of showing off the art and the text of a card the best, although it can catch glare from lights. Matte fronts, on the other hand, tend to mute the artwork and the content of the cards, but matte fronts do help prevent glare, and matte fronts and backs tend to have less visible wear, showing less scuffing or scratch marks than glossy sleeves might pick up. Related to the finish, some card sleeves offer textured backs, while others offer smooth backs. Some argue that, like matte fronts, textured backs are less likely to pick up visible wear, so it is something to consider. Finally, some of you who have some valuable cards, or those that want to play their games in potentially more unstable environments like when camping, might also consider double sleeving, which is putting an inner sleeve on a card before inserting it into a regular sleeve. If you're interested in double sleeving, then it's important to pay attention to what sleeves you purchase, as you will need perfect inner sleeves along with generously spaced outer sleeves. And if you want to add yet another layer of protection, there are also sleeves called card barriers that you can put over your double sleeved cards. Those are the basic qualities of sleeves that you might want to consider before investing in a lot of card sleeves. You'll want to confirm that the size of the sleeve matches your cards. You'll want to see whether the production quality of the cards in both consistency and durability meet your standards. You'll want to look at how many sleeves you need, how many sleeves come in each pack, and both the price per pack as well as the overall price per sleeve. Check how well they shuffle, check how well they stack, and how expediently the cards sleeve. Finally, for standard card sleeves, you'll want to decide whether you want clear or opaque card backs, glossy or matte finish, a smooth or textured card back, and also if you want to double sleeve or not. Granted, you might not know entirely what you want, and there are a lot of brands with several different offerings out there, so in future videos I will be evaluating different sleeves, many of which you can see here, noting and demonstrating their various qualities to help you get an idea if this particular sleeve is right for you. I'll be keeping a spreadsheet summary of these evaluations on my blog at Init Games as well, so that you can compare the different sleeves. If this video was helpful, hit the like button for me, and if you'd like to see the future evaluations, which I'm hoping to be weekly, as well as various other gaming videos, you can subscribe. This was Refresh, and thanks for watching.